Hey there, friends. So I'm watching YouTube to see when and if we get some more professional stuff than just back of the napkin, right? I was literally drawing on the back of a napkin today at Tom's. I took my mom to get her regular blood check. She's 90. My car still works. I'm kind of hanging in there. And so I'm some guy in Oregon who wants to fight, kind of Walter Kaufman style, if you know what I mean. He was a philosophy professor I had at Princeton, and he worried about the rise of, I don't know what you want to call it, totalitarianism sounds good to me. Kind of like AI on steroids. It's like the whole Terminator nightmare thing. It's not really that machines or robots will destroy us, it's that we will become machine robots and destroy ourselves. Because as you know, we are prone to that problem. We disconnect from the mind. In American transcendentalism, it's not left brain, right brain as much. In that world, they're really worried the left brain might be disconnecting from the right brain and becoming a machine learning robot. But in American transcendentalism, we talk about the brain disconnecting from intuition, whatever. So no more secondhand God. You can read these books, they're free still and haven't all been burned, okay? So I think why I call it a fleet in this picture is, of course, I'm thinking of the Bismos. The business mobiles, they actually rove around. They're not sitting fixed anywhere. So like Save the Bees Bismo, it might be moving around a lot. We can imagine. The point of these pictures, though, you have to understand is I just want to protect my reputation. I'm kind of selfish in that way. It's while you guys were wringing your hands about concentration camps, at least here in Oregon, we were reaching out to the movie making industry and saying, hey, put something hopeful on our screens. You screenwriters out there who control television and give us wars and all that, how about give us Asylum City? And not just some guy on YouTube with the back of a napkin, right? We want the real deal. We know we can afford it. We understand general systems theory. We understand that we are plugged into the sun and do have the power. Otherwise, how would we have the power for these mega wars that you keep giving us in scripts and make us act in those roles? So, in the Asylum City world, we do have roles. They're just probably not for life. In fact, probably for months or weeks that you get to be like security or cook. All these things do take training, and it's good to accumulate skills. And then when you go to your next Asylum City, you can just fit in there as the barber or a barber or a nurse or whatever. But you also know how to serve as a cook or security, whatever. And it's not like a lifetime commitment. It's what are you going to be when you grow up? Is like one of the dumbest questions, right? Don't always tolerate when you're asked the ultra dumb questions. You're going to be a human being, you hope. Now, in this day and age, that may be hopeless, but you're going to work at it. So, refugees, we're going to make them into tourists. In other words, tourists are laid back. They seem to have a lot of money. I mean, they can afford to just kind of move around, but they're traveling light. They're not carrying them. Better tourists aren't carrying a huge number of suitcases, right? So you won't have a lot to your name, perhaps, but nor are you going to starve to death, and nor are you going to be shot, or put in prison. You're free and you're a tourist. That's not a bad idea. And the tours of duty are things like the things that you do, right? Drive around in a Bismo, drive a truck. And when we say refugees now, we're not bound by the lawyers. They don't have to control the language that we talk. As engineers, a refugee is a homeless person, a vet who might be homeless. Definitely a lot in the military are there because they're refugees from a rat race that had no room for them. In fact, pushes them very hard to join the military. You're really under a lot of pressure in some situations, even though it's, quote, volunteer in some countries. In other countries, it's not. But we will count the military as refugees. if you don't mind, if it's okay with you. And asylum seekers, right? So that's all categories of refugee who might need to come to Asylum City and, pick up skills. Maybe that's going to be your final destination, this Asylum City, but it's really designed to help you keep moving if that's what you want to do. It's not a prison. It's like heaven for some people. They never want to leave, but we're not the only Asylum City. This is just the one that patriots in Oregon were coming up with just to protect themselves uh, from the backlash. We don't want to be that country that was doing the concentration camps or whatever that's going on, right? That's not what we're patriotic about. When we celebrate America, it's because of bold dreams of the future. And don't forget the whole number volumes if you're high ranking in any way, right? Don't pretend you're a general if you don't know what I'm talking about. All right, then. Talk to you soon.